Welcome back. Today we're looking at optical illusions. Ooh, illusions for our opticals. You probably never heard of an optical illusion before. Let me explain it to you. An optical illusion is when you think I'm sitting in my chair, but my chair's actually halfway across the room. It's actually just exploiting trust. All right, I'm not gonna explain this to you because obviously you know what an optical illusion is. It's some sort of image that messes with your vision and your brain or whatever. Oh no, I just explained it. We did this video concept like 6 months ago and I had a fantastic time. It was definitely mind-blowing and it was just basically 40 minutes of me just losing my sanity slowly. So hopefully we get that again because that was kind of fun. So let's jump into it, huh? First image. What number do you see? I see like 6 numbers. I see 7 numbers. I see 3, 4, 5, 2, 8, 8, 9. Am I supposed to only see 1 number? There's a 2 right in the middle and everything's kind of wiggly. I mean, these numbers, they are not all right. They're in peril. The whole thing's kind of spinning the longer I look at it. I'm confused if I'm not supposed to see all these numbers. Okay, this 3 might be an 8 actually, based on the top comment. 3, 4, 5, 2, 8, 3, 9. I don't know, this one doesn't seem that mind-blowing. This whole spiral is definitely making my eyes lose it. Like they don't know what to do with this. But the numbers, what do they mean, you know? What do the numbers mean? I definitely can see them all. You know, they're obscured, but I can see them. So I don't know if maybe I've got supervision. Maybe this is an easy one. I don't know. We're gonna move on. It took me way longer to realize than it should have that it's not an invisible man walking his dog. I mean, logically, we know it's not an invisible man walking his dog, but what am I looking at is the real question. I see dog, I see vest, and I see shapes. I see flesh-colored shapes. I don't know how to see anything else. It looks like the camera is like a good 5, 6 feet off the ground, so it feels like someone's holding it. Should I phone a friend here and look at the comments, or should we just be bewildered for a little bit longer? I don't get it. It's definitely a vest. I don't know if I locked in too soon on seeing this as a vest and it's actually not a vest. Maybe that's where I went wrong. This looks like a vest. There should be arms coming out of these sides and a head here and also a body, but there's not. And I think that that might be part of the illusion. Okay, I'm looking at the comments in 3, 2, 1. It's a close-up of a dog's vest on a guy's hand, okay? Of the dog's vest on a guy's hand. Okay, I think I see it. It still looks weird. This thumb, if this is the thumb right here, it's kind of freaking me out. Also, what are these? Also, what's happening? Also, why are you doing that? What's going on? But yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's a little disappointing, actually, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be like some mind-blowing, oh, this is actually like a freaking whatever. Oh, there is a guy in here. There's a whole man in this vest. I just didn't see him. He's behind this thing right here. But no, it's just, I guess he's holding the vest kind of on his arm and it's draped down. That's it? All right. Whatever, man. I thought it was an invisible man, but can't have everything. They're getting closer together, but are they really? Oh yeah, they really are. And any second now, they're all gonna just squish in the middle. Mark my words, I can feel it. Let's watch this one right here. There he goes. Where are you going? Come back. Dude, no matter what part of this you look at, it's like a different pattern of movement. Like if you look at the top, they're just kind of flying by, basically in a straight line and then kind of curving a little bit. In the middle, you get kind of this like, you know, like this kind of, I don't know how to describe any of what I'm saying here. I don't know why I'm even trying to, but there's a lot of things moving around. I do wonder if the shapes and how they kind of spin randomly, if that is part of the illusion. Like would this not work if it was just a bunch of stationary things moving? Oh dude, when I just looked at you, whoa, holy smokes, you look freaky as hell right now. Okay, look at this for a little while and look at anything, ideally someone else. Okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna look at myself in the little viewfinder here. Here we go, this is gonna be trippy. Ready? Me reacting to freaky me. I see no difference. It's not even a joke. It didn't really do anything. So I don't know, maybe it's not a big enough viewfinder. But this is cool. You know, this is a classic illusion here. The crazy illusion would be if we were told that these aren't even moving. Obviously that's not the case, but imagine looking at this for like a while and then they're like, isn't it crazy that nothing's moving in this image? Really interesting. We'll move on. Okay. Oh, I'm still tripping from the last one, but we're supposed to stare at this spiral. Am I gonna survive this video? We're only on the 4th one and my entire screen is doing this right now. It's like my whole monitor is like an accordion. Okay, here we go. Stare at the center of the top image for 30 seconds. Don't click away. I know 30 seconds is a long time. We'll do 20, all right? Can you handle 20? 20 seconds, I don't know how I'm supposed to know. Okay, I'm staring. We'll say that was 5 seconds. We'll say that was 10 seconds. Okay, the spiral itself is getting weirder the longer I look at it. Dude, I'm not gonna survive this video. This video ends when I go blind. Okay, I'm gonna call that 20, I'm looking. Whoa, dude. It's kind of the same thing as the last one, not gonna lie, where that's so cool. Wow, that's really cool. I mean, this, again, you could look at this and look at anything and it will look weird. That's crazy. It's so funny, like, I don't know enough to know exactly why. Obviously, I can kind of guess, or like, you know, it's our brain being silly. Like, you know, I don't really know the specifics. But it is funny this even happens. Like, we look at a spiral for like 20 seconds and our brain is like, and now actually everything is doing that. I'm like, don't get too crazy with it. You look at one thing, you don't need it to apply to the next thing. Like, our brain doesn't take context into consideration, it seems like. It's like if you look at one goofy thing, it just assumes everything's goofy for like the next little while until it figures it out. It's like, okay, well, that thing's not swirling, so we can turn that whole swirly thing off. Why did you even do that in the first place? Why did you think that my whole room should swirl now? Is that helpful in any way, you know? Obviously, it's not actually thinking that, at least I'd think. This is too many layers. It's me thinking about how I'm thinking. That's crazy. Before rain and after rain. Before rain, kind of a city thing going on here, some power lines. After rain, I'm supposed to look at it upside down? Oh, interesting. Does this even count? It feels like a cool image. I guess it's an illusion. Yeah, I mean, it counts. But like, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here's the image. In case you didn't see it, I only know how to use Microsoft Paint, so don't get mad at me. This is all I know how to do. There we go. So now it's like, oh yeah, it's just a puddle on the ground reflecting city above, which is cool. The original image, I'm like, there's all this at the bottom here that can only be upside down. You know, it's just a reflection. I don't mean to sound like some smart guy here, but I think that we can do better than a reflection. It's a really cool picture. I'll give you that much. Like, look at this really low res image of a building I found, and then look at that beautiful sky. Aha, I tricked you. That was the reflection in the ground, you see. Here's the image of the building in the sky. We can do better. That's all I'm saying. I want to be more bamboozled than that. Which color do you see on top and which is the background? An illusion that gives the impression of depth. I would say red is more forward and blue is more backwards. I think I have to kind of think a little bit to even get that there's a different depth to them. I think if I look at this just like without really thinking, it just looks like it's the same. But if I think about depth, then yes, red looks like it could be closer to me and blue looks further behind, which is interesting. This is a different kind of illusion. It feels like more of a little test, or like we're learning something about ourselves here. Like, are you seeing the same thing? Like, is red forwards and blue is kind of more sunken? You don't have to say it's red. You could say something different. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. But I think that there's something here. It almost to me feels like it could be as simple as red is a brighter color and blue is a darker color, at least in this image. So blue kind of sinks into the black background more than the red does. Is it that simple? Because that doesn't seem that interesting. This effect occurs because different wavelengths of light, like red and blue, refract through the eye's optics differently due to the chromatic aberration. Red light with its longer wavelength refracts less sharply than blue light, which has a shorter wavelength. This causes the brain to interpret certain colors as being closer to farther away. Interesting. So my theory about it being bright versus dark colors is not really applicable because, wait, it kind of is though, because you have red on this side of the wavelength spectrum and purple way over here. And so like red, orange, yellow, it would always seem like they're kind of in the front. But once you hit like green, blue, purple, which are kind of like usually darker colors, am I just trying to like verify my own wrong theory? There's no one else in here to tell me I'm wrong. That sounds right to me. It's probably a way smarter explanation than that, but it's interesting. I never really thought about the depth of colors before. Neat. Shake your screen, it says. All right, we're doing it. Whoa, this feels kind of weird to be doing, not gonna lie. Okay, when I shake my screen, the ball seems to move more than the pixels around it, like the squares. The ball kind of like jitters, where the outside just kind of moves with the monitor. Like the rest of it's just like, hey, stop shaking me. But the ball is like doing its old jittery thing, like it's got its own physics. That's very strange. I'm just sitting here gently shaking my monitor. This is actually what I do for work. At this moment, this is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do right now. I'm shaking my entire desk at this point. That's really interesting. That's really fascinating. Why does it do that, you know? Why does it do that? Because I know it's not doing that. Like, that's not a screen thing. Bright objects are parsed by your brain quicker. It takes a bit for dark objects to process through your mental pipeline. What the heck? Really? So my brain is like getting, you know, 140 frames on the black and white part, or like the white on black, but it's like operating at like 30 frames per second, to use some gamer terms for you. That's crazy. My brain lags with dark colors just a little bit. Usually not fast enough for it to be noticeable, but that's kind of crazy. There's probably some argument out there that it's safer to drive a white car than like a dark blue car because the people around you don't see you as fast if you're in a dark colored car. Think about that for a second, all right? My car's dark blue, so I'm not making an argument in my favor. I have a very, very dark blue car, and I don't have any intention of owning a white car because then everyone can tell it's dirty. That's interesting though. Think about that. There are a lot of white cars out there, and I always see them, and no one knows I'm there because I'm in my dark blue car. They don't know I'm there until it's too late. I mean, obviously I'm joking. Like, it's such a fast, like nanosecond type difference. As I'm sitting here talking and just gently moving my head, it's wiggling. It's jiggling and wiggling on my screen. I gotta move on here. This is getting a little weird. Use your finger to cover the line between the two gray blocks. I think we've all seen this one before. This is a classic. You block the kind of gap, and what do you know? They're both the same color gray. I bet you didn't expect that, buddy. It's crazy because obviously, it looks like the top one's darker gray and the bottom one's white or like really light gray, or at least like in the slant, it looks like a very light gray versus a really dark gray. But they're the same gray. Isn't that funny? Isn't that silly? Really makes you think, why is it like that? You know? And also, what is this image? Like, why do they put this illusion in this like liminal space? Like implying that this exists in a world. You don't gotta do world building for your optical illusion, you know? All right, I mean, that's a classic. Honorable mention to this one. This is insane. Look at the dot on the nose, 15 seconds. Okay, right here, we're locking in. Here we go, 15 seconds. Looking at the dot, I think I already know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see just like a normal looking face for a second. I don't mean to spoil that for you, but I think I know how this works. I've looked at enough illusions to know how this works. Okay, we'll call that 15, here we go. Oh my gosh, I saw a woman, not negative colors. Dang, I'm gonna say it, guys. That's actually pretty crazy. I just blinked and saw a woman. In simple terms, you're exhausting the RGB photoreceptors looking at the overbright inverted image, so when you then look at the plain white, the non-exhausted receptor population are still giving their input over the exhausted for a short time, generating a de-inverted image. I'm about to use my thinker, and I'm gonna process what I just read. So you are looking at something, and the part of your eyes or whatever, your receptors get like tired of looking at something so bright, but the part of your brain that sees the opposite colors is still working. So when you look at something really bright, these ones aren't doing so hot. So this one kind of takes over and you see mostly this. So you see an inverted. I mean, that's a really bad explanation. Not as good as what they just said, but that's how I'm gonna understand it. It's cool to actually get an explanation for some of this because I've seen this type of image before where you look at something inverted and you look at somewhere else and then you see it like normal. It's really fascinating. It is really cool. There's times they'll have you look at like a dot with some color or something. Then they'll show you a black and white image, but it will look like it's in color. Like something that's really interesting, that you could see the accurate color of something, but it wasn't actually there. It was just like a memory of color, inverted color also. It's fascinating. Also, she looks like kind of scary right here. I mean, it's just negative, but it's funny how like she looked like just a absolutely normal person. Like, I don't know what I expected. Obviously, like if I was inverted, I would look scary as well. But it's funny how we look so scary inverted, you know? Isn't that funny? Floating woman. I saw this image before. This is cool. It's just like a towel, obviously, and her hair's kind of laid facing us, so it kind of looks like it's hanging, and then the sunlight is obviously behind her, so she doesn't have a shadow. So it's a nice illusion. It's not like it's gonna trick you for long, because this is clearly a towel, but it's a good little like, oh, whoa, oh, interesting. Oh, haha, that's funny. I gotta send that to my mom. She'll think this is great. No matter when you pause the video, the sword will vanish suddenly. Okay, there's the sword. Here I go pausing it. Boom. Dude, sword just vanished suddenly, quickly even. That's interesting. There it goes, and then I pause it. There it goes, and then I pause it. There it goes, and then I pause. This is interesting because it almost seems obvious, but not really. Okay, this is actually doing something Dangerous. Okay, no, this makes sense. This makes sense, all right? It's a bunch of random colored dots. That's obviously where the magic comes from. But when they're moving, obviously we can tell the difference because some dots are moving and some of them are not. And then you pause it and then it disappears in the background. But in reality, it was always part of the background. It was just that the background was moving. Although, was it? Was it moving? It was moving, right? I'm not imagining that part. Yeah, look at that. Okay, there you go. It's different dots than the ones behind. Okay, that's actually a better way to say it. It's not the same dots. Like, look at this right here. And then if I move it, like you can see it's a different set of dots, all right? It actually is something there. But when it's not moving, it's not obvious which dots are the new ones and which ones are the old ones. It's really interesting because it's so apparent. We can see the entire thing, the whole border. You pause it and it's like, I couldn't tell you where it is, you know, it's gone. How do people come up with this kind of stuff, you know? Someone had to make this. They were like, this'll get them. I feel like illusions are funny in that way because maybe some of them are for like studying the eye or like you learn something, you know, maybe some of them have more of a practical use, but a lot of them are like someone with a lot of know-how potentially spend some time making an image just to make us go like, what? That's crazy. You know, like there's not like a whole lot else to it. It's just interesting, which I guess that's all content, huh? It's made to make us go, huh, interesting. Are these dots blue or purple? Okay, they look absolutely purple. I don't think there's a whole lot of a debate there. However, I'm suspicious because this is a video about optical illusions. So it feels foolish to see the words 9 purple dots and think, yep, that's 9 purple dots. Let's move on, case closed. But how could these be anything other than purple dots? They're extremely purple. Although I know I'm not colorblind, but I do disagree with people sometimes on what they define as blue and purple. A lot of times I'll see what I think is like a very purplish dark blue and I'll be like, this definitely leans more purple, but everyone's like, that's just blue. And then that reverse happens a lot. But this is not really like that. This is just straight up, it's almost like a dark pink. Like it's not blue at all, but it must be blue, right? Is the illusion that there's no illusion? Is the illusion that they're gonna make me analyze pink dots and convince myself they're blue? Okay, here we go. Here's what we're doing here. I'm screen grabbing this. Okay, this is a fun video, isn't it, right? Now we analyze the purple square. This is absolutely purple. Are some people seeing blue dots or am I colorblind? Someone's colorblind in this situation. This is absolutely purple. There's not even like a debate here, I don't think, if I may be so bold. Although when I look at it on my other monitor, like the picture I just took, it's darker on my other monitor. So I don't know if that's a whole other plot to get into. It's definitely on a darker background. Okay, hold on. What am I looking at here? Let's look at the comments. If I look directly at it, it's purple. If I look away at all, it's blue. But they're all still purple for me, even if I look at all of them and none of them, they're always all purple. Okay, I look over here. Okay, wait, whoa, guys. One of them's bluish. Hold on. Let's make it bigger. I'm looking over here. I'm uninterested in these purple dots. They're upsetting to me. I don't know, does that even count? I'm not even looking at them. I'm just saying they're blue at that point. I'm looking like a couple inches off to the left. I don't know, man. They still feel pretty purple to me. I don't know if this one's working for me. But the people in the comments seem to be like tripping about this one. So there must be something here. Although this guy, only one is purple to me, but it keeps moving around. Guys, am I broken? Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't get them to be anything other than purple. And trust me, I'm trying. I really want to see the blue, but I'm seeing just distinctly purple. All right, we'll move on. But if this one worked for you, congratulations. I don't know what this means for me. Maybe I've got problems. Maybe my brain doesn't work. Or maybe your brain doesn't work. There are 16 circles in this photo. Whoa, I see them. Okay, I lost him again. Whoa. Okay, hopefully you just see him. I don't need to explain it to you, but it looks like a bunch of squares, right? Kind of cycling out, but this is the circle. And I feel like once you see one of them, you see all 16 of them. It's 4x4. And then once you see the circles, then the rest of it just looks like lines going all the way across. Like there's no other pattern other than circles on top of a bunch of lines. Like there's no squares. The squares are formed by the circles breaking up the lines. That's fascinating. That's really cool, actually. I mean, these all are pretty cool, but this one is like, it's cool because I feel like I can switch between it. I can see the squares, like the blocks, and then suddenly I'm looking at 16 circles, man. That's crazy. That's really cool. I like that. I like the image with the circles more than I like the one with the squares. Like the circles on this like gradient of lines is actually kind of satisfying to look at. But as soon as the squares take over, it just kind of looks too busy. I'm like, oh, dude, get out of here, you stupid squares. Bring the circles back. Yeah, there they are. I see them. Nice. That's cool. All right. Which way is she spinning? For me, currently it's counterclockwise. But how do I see the other direction now? I look away, I forget about it. Clockwise. No, still counterclockwise. I don't know how I would make this spin the other direction. It looks too much like counterclockwise. How would that even work? I really want to see this switch because that's going to be crazy. Because if I can't get it to switch, then it's just an image of a ballerina spinning counterclockwise. Like, who cares? But if I can get to see both, then I'm like, okay, this, like, I can't even confirm this is an illusion at this moment in time. I'm sure that it is. Okay, I'm training myself. I'm doing a clockwise motion. I'm imagining the hand is spinning the other way. Dude, that worked. It's clockwise now. Whoa. Dude, how did that happen? Okay, if it's not working for you, I kind of like matched its pace and moved my finger kind of like with it. And then I kind of imagined, I don't know, I just sort of did it. So I just sort of like switched it, made it happen. So try that maybe. That's crazy. Now it's locked into being clockwise. Now I've forgotten how it worked before. Because now I'm looking at this, I'm like, how could this possibly be counterclockwise? It's clearly moving that direction. This might be the best one because of how vividly it looks like the way that I'm seeing it at that moment. But now I've seen it both ways. And both times I've been unable to imagine it the other way, which is really funny. Like my own brain doesn't even remember what it was just telling me a second ago. It's like, by the way, man, it's counterclockwise. And then it's like, actually, we got that wrong. It's clockwise, final answer. Dude, that's crazy. And now I kind of want to switch it back. Let's see if I can do it. Do it with me. It's not working, I can tell. I don't even know if that had anything to do with it. This finger motion might have nothing to do with it. I'm sorry for giving you so much eye contact right now, too. This is part of it. I promise. It's not working. This finger thing I'm doing has nothing to do with it. It was just chance last time. Fascinating though. Really cool. Isn't this fun? Looking at illusions together. Isn't this a nice change of pace? We're still kind of like being scared almost. Not like in the scary kind of way, but scary in like a dang. Our brain is just guessing a lot of times. Our brain is always rounding up and like finding the closest thing and kind of simplifying things for us by not showing us all the dots because that's too many dots. It'll like simplify things for us and like, you know, it doesn't think we can handle all the information, I guess. It's like, hey man, just show him this color. It's close enough. Hey man, why don't you just have him only focus on this? Show him purple dots when they're actually blue. I don't know. Maybe they were actually blue. They're pretty purple. I'm convinced of that. But that's crazy that people could see blue dots on that one. That's absurd. I don't know how, but I believe it happened. Now look at this. We got 2 batteries on some lines, and now look, this one looks way bigger than that one. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Wow. Oh man, dude. This genuinely looks like a smaller battery until like it's almost all the way to this battery. Like my brain is still insisting this is smaller than that until they're right side by side. And then my brain's like, oh yeah, of course they're the same size. We always knew that. It's so obvious. They're the same battery. They're both AA's, idiot. But like, look at this. Smaller battery. Still. Look at the edges. This is still a smaller battery. But it's not. There's just lines on the paper and it's enough to confuse my brain and hopefully your brain too. Imagine if this video was just me being illusioned and you guys are all watching this like not being tricked by any of these. That would be crazy. You could all gaslight me into thinking I'm crazy probably. This is wild to think about. One more time. Okay, 2 side-by-side batteries. It's funny that it shows it to us at the beginning, you know? We see that there's 2 equally sized batteries. Our brain's like, 2 equally sized batteries. Of course, they're both AA's. He moves this one over there, and then my brain's like, it might be a AA and a AAA, actually. I might have gotten that wrong. And then it insists on that story up until like the last second, right there. It's like, okay, actually, I was wrong. About being wrong? Why did my brain second guess itself right in front of me multiple times? It's kind of embarrassing almost. Like, brain, what are you doing? Can I trust you? Okay, last one. Is Mario going upstairs or downstairs? I'm losing my mind over this. I mean, it kind of looks like he's falling down the stairs, but this window is like lined up. This window is diagonal, I think, is the issue here. This whole room is just warped. He could also be running up the stairs too, but then the window's like practically sideways. It's wrong either way is my final answer. This image is just wrong. It's just old animation where they either did it as like a style thing or they just didn't think about it, or they just didn't think it was gonna matter. They didn't think people were gonna screenshot it and analyze it 20 years later being like, huh, interesting. Did the artist put the window in the correct spot? Is everything proportionally correct? Did they use the vanishing point correctly? Did they get the angles right? It's like, dude, it's just a silly cartoon. But yeah, he's definitely not walking down the stairs, if that's an option. Oh yeah, that was what they asked. If he's going upstairs, he's walking, and this window is sideways. If he's going downstairs, he's falling. Like, this is not how you walk downstairs. You don't walk downstairs vertically. At least I don't. I don't know. Everyone's different. But anyway, we'll end it there. Thanks for watching. There were some good ones in here. I think the first couple where we were staring at spirals for a while and then looking at you, like looking at the camera, was just trippy. Like those ones will always amuse me. Just seeing something crazy and then looking somewhere else and then seeing my entire world just like spin for a couple seconds. It really is like just a weird moment of like, why can that happen? It makes me question if I'm actually seeing what I'm seeing, you know? If it can all just start spinning whenever. If I just look at the wrong thing for a little too long, everything can spin. Kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys played Guitar Hero or like Rock Band back in the day. If you played that game for a while with like the notes flying towards you and then you like did anything else after playing that game for like an hour, it looked trippy. It was like an optical illusion. It was just like motion coming towards you for like an hour and then suddenly you feel like you're falling. Anyway, that was a good game. Why don't we stop making games like that? Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you for hanging out with me today. It's actually my birthday. As of right this moment, my birthday is the 23rd, and it's 12:30, meaning it just switched into, I don't know why. You don't have to celebrate me. I'm just a YouTuber, but I just figured I'd mention that while I was filming this video, it became my birthday. That's kind of a fun fact. Or is it just an illusion? Like it wasn't my birthday when we started filming, but now it is. Okay, bye-bye.